Hello, my fellow subscribers. This is Supercholatemilkshake, and I am here talking. Well, actually, this is the very first ever daily dose of chocolate I've ever done. In fact, this is kind of something I set out to just test the waters right now. So, it's going to be a little bit improvised. I'm going to be throwing stuff out the wall here and seeing what sticks and yada, yada, yada. But I think I might try and turn this into a weekly thing if people like this and like this episode a lot. So, hey, be sure to tell your friends and get some of your family into this. Or, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your fish. Do whatever. Post this on your social medias. Promote the video. Let's see how people like it. Let's see if people can come in and watch this, because, I'm going to be continuing to do this depending upon if people like this or not. So, unfortunately, I got to be quiet because it is quite literally right now like 10:37 in the evening, and really I should be getting to bed because I got to get up to work at 6 in the morning, but oh well. I've been kind of running on a lack of sleep for quite some time now, so this isn't really going to make much of a difference. But anyway, sleep, who needs sleep? I mean, what is sleep? I mean, I have ADHD. Sleep is a foreign entity to me, But anyway, neither here nor there. I didn't really necessarily think of anything to talk about for this first episode. I mean, like I said, I'm just going to be throwing this at the wall and seeing what sticks for this podcast. But, yeah. And I know this is going to be more like a weekly dose of chocolate if I do this right, and I'm going to be doing this on the weekly, but you know what? I mean, daily just sounds better for me. It just sounds way much better. And besides that, it rolls off the tongue so much better. And not to mention, it abbreviates a little bit better too. DDC, I mean, yeah, duh. I mean, how much better could you get? But anyway, neither here nor there. When it comes down to it, yes, I am calling this daily dose of chocolate, and I'm just going to stick with it. Man, I am doing terrible here. Please let me know how terrible I'm doing inside the comments down below. I will actively promote you guys insulting me. Okay? So, anyway. Subject. I've actually had quite a few interesting events happen to me of recent, though, I will admit. I mean, actually, the past couple of weeks have been absolutely crazy. Well, actually, the whole year has been kind of really crazy, but in more ways than one. If I actually had to talk about personal stuff, though, primarily it was just trying to get Grandma moved, like, from halfway South Dakota to the middle of Wyoming, like from middle of the South Dakota to the middle of Wyoming is not exactly an easy trip. Like from Casper to Witten, yeah, that's like over 2,000, 3,000 miles. I forget. I'll have to look that up. Actually, I can do that right now. Like I said, this is kind of how poorly improved. Sheesh. I am not winning any Emmys for this one. I'm not winning any rewards for this one. Okay, so that's D2 Casper, Wyoming. There we go. 380 miles. Okay, yeah, I over-exaggerated with the, I'm sorry about that. And yeah, no, you can't really necessarily see anything right now because you know what? I probably just got the swirls up on the screen right now. I'll get a little avatar talking, but probably when I actually start doing this next year, depending upon how you guys view it and how you guys react to it. I would like to keep doing this, and I actually would probably think of subjects to talk about for said week, whether it be like a recap of what happened last week, or, maybe possible things that I could talk about in the future, Like I said, when it comes down to it again, it's about you guys and what you want to say. Anyway, there has been some other things, too, that have been happening, and if I had to get a little more recent, like, for example, actually, tell you the truth, some of the funnest things that I've had happen at McDonald's is number one, it's been snowing in Wyoming of recent, so of course, working there, one thing I've often observed is that it seems like when the snow falls, it seems like the intelligence of people also seem to fall with it too. Like, no offense to anybody who orders, okay? I'm not trying to insult the customer base. It just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like people just get a little bit dumber or a little more brash or bolder because, actually, I remember an icy morning when I was traveling down, carpooling with my mom, and and we almost witnessed a wreck in front of us. And that's only because one guy was riding our bumper for pretty much the majority of the way, despite how icy the road was. And then when we hit one of the more main roads that has a passing lane, he decided to pass us at a high rate of speed. And there was somebody else who was pulling out in front of us. We were moving slow enough to let that person get out. But that person started fishtailing in front of this guy. And the other guy, well, he had to pull into the turn lane just to avoid him. If that doesn't convince you about the level of stupidity right there, I don't know what will. The guy in the SUV that was right behind us should have been driving a lot slower. We almost witnessed a wreck, and honestly, it would have made us run late for work that day. Not that it really mattered because of how icy it was. They probably would have forgiven us for running late, but still, neither here nor there. And, of course, when it comes down to it, at McDonald's, too, I've also kind of noticed that they've also got their little Grinch meal going on, which, honestly, to tell you the truth, I kind of wish I was a part of the advertising department with that one, because you know what? I would actually try to decorate the lobby, because this is one of the biggest criticisms with McDonald's, and honestly, a criticism that I also share too. Their lobbies have gotten super boring of recent. Like, they are, like, the most blandest, generic lobbies that you could possibly find. It's kind of sad, too, because they used to have a lot more life to them. The buildings used to have a lot more life to them. There was, like, actual awnings and sidings, even though, granted, some of the times it was a bit dangerous because I remember breaking my elbow out in that parking lot. I remember the playlands. To tell you the truth, we had an outdoor one. Unfortunately, they pulled it out because they said we did not have enough population. Not that it matters, because I'm pretty sure playlands shut down due to the fact that, well, yeah, we had that one thing, so honestly, not that it would have mattered with our playland, because it was outside. It wasn't encapsulated inside a building. It was out in the sun all the time, so I don't think it really would have mattered, COVID or not. Kids could have played on that thing, but neither here nor there. They took it out and decided to make it boring, and a boring little picnic area. The only thing I think I can say that's good about it is that at least people can have their dogs on the patio and not have to worry about them jumping out of their cars or anything like that while they eat inside or inside the little fenced-off area, which is nice. At least it allows people to take their dogs closer to the restaurant. But overall, I don't think it was necessarily the best move either, because a lot of kids are kind of upset about it, and they're still sad about it, that too. And again, I think the building itself is kind of boring and flat. And again, if I was part of the advertisement department with the Grinch thing, I would have done things that honestly probably would have made the CEO really mad, because it would have costed way too much money. But I would have had cutouts of, like, the Grinch stealing Christmas lights off the walls. I would have had, like, a big old cardboard cutout set up for a fireplace, and then, like, the Grinch holding a magnet right next to it with stockings on there, or like some window clings of, like, the Grinch trying to sneak out of the restaurant with a McDonald's bag in his hand, you know, stuff like that. Like, I think that would have gotten people to come in and at least look. Because, you know, here's the thing about advertising. It's not about how many people buy. It's about how many people look your direction, okay? It's part of the reason why word of mouth is the best possible advertising. Because, you know, when you talk to people and tell them, hey, this is good, this works out, well then, you know, more people are going to be curious, come in and take a look and decide whether if it's worth their time or not. Because, you know what? Their friend recommended it, or their brother recommended it, or their sister recommended it, you know, something like that. They have close personal relations, and if they decide to like it, they can tell their friends and their family, and so on and so forth. Which again kind of goes to show that if you really have a good reputation and you try to get people talking about it, then you're probably going to end up drawing more people in than you ever could, which again is kind of the point of advertising. The reason why you should advertise, and advertise well. Because the one thing that could probably screw anything up is bad advertising. And trust me, I've known this. I've studied the movie industry and the game industry for quite some time. And I know a game that doesn't really necessarily get that much advertising, or gets terrible advertising that spells it all out for them, usually are doomed for failure. Like, period. End of story. And, you know, like, it's very easy to see why, too, because if it doesn't get too much attention to it, well then, yeah, nobody's really going to talk about it. Nobody's really going to bring it up. Like, I think the Buffalo Ranch wraps and chickens, like, I think those kind of came and went and kind of went out unceremoniously. Same thing goes for the gold sauce sandwiches, too. We ended up coming home with some gold sauce, too, because they had some left over and they were just going to throw it out. And we just decided, why not take it home? Because, actually, to tell you the truth, even if I don't like mustard, I kind of like the gold sauce. I mean, it is a honey mustard and barbecue mixed together, but the gold sauce actually does taste pretty good. And I've tried it on multiple different things since it came home. I tried it on a hamburger. I've tried it on, actually, surprisingly enough, it tastes good on a salad, which is very weird. In fact, when it comes down to it, you'll probably hear about it when I finally get the whole live stream for Dispatch chopped up and uploaded onto the internet, because trust me, some shifting through 8 hours of video was just not my idea of fun. But neither here nor there. Again, the real truth is that I kind of wish, I kind of wish I was thinking about more better subjects than this, but oh well. But again, that's kind of the truth, is that, you just try to have to get good advertising. You got to get people talking about it. You got to get people a reason to talk about it, and the people a reason to come in and try it. Because, if you don't, then, again, you completely and totally fail at your job. And again, that's some of the ways that advertising can end up killing your project or killing anything. Because, if you don't advertising enough, then, yeah, people aren't going to try it out. People aren't going to be curious. If you advertise it almost too much, people are also probably going to get tired and not really do it either. There's a subtlety to it. And yes, even if what I'm doing is over the top, still, it would have been at least good enough to drag attention to the Grinch meal. See, that's again something that I think McDonald's is kind of doing wrong there. But it doesn't really necessarily matter. I mean, I've even noticed that there's been a decline in our hometown, which, by the way, considering that we have the only real fast food burger stand in town, like, honestly, there is no competition to be had whatsoever, and even then we're still losing business, which, I mean, come on. I don't know if that's an obvious sign for something or not, but it really does kind of look like that's the only thing that we got. Yeah, like I said, it's not looking very good, so yeah. Part of the reason why I'm trying to find other sources of revenue, like my game programming, and then actually, I have been tumbling rocks of recent. Now, that is a hobby that is kind of expensive, but you know what? Kind of interesting. Oh yeah, I probably do need to get those tumblers cleaned out and replaced now, and maybe tumble the rocks just a little bit more so that the polish doesn't grow sediment on the sidewalls and such. But when it comes down to it, I've been tumbling rocks with the recent, and I've also gotten some tools to shape rocks and mold rocks. It's going to be interesting. I might make some interesting videos for that channel, too. Who knows? I might get around to recording it someday. I also do need to do some repairs on my car, too. I need to get some more antifreeze inside of it, and hopefully, maybe someday I might be able to fix the whole thing, but right now I do not have the money for it, and it's looking like I may never get the money for it, but who knows? Only time will tell. We just gotta push forward, see what happens, and, hope for the best, because that's kind of what we need to do at this point. Because, again, that's something that I think we all need to do at this point. It's not going to be easy, and things are going to get rough, and, when it comes down to it, if things are going to get rough, it's just usually better to start being wise with most of what you got. Start being wise with your money, start being wise with your electricity, start being wise with everything in your life. Like, if you don't need something running, then just leave it off, Because, again, it's going to be kind of tough within the next couple of years. And granted, even if there is some good news, it's still not necessarily outweighing the bad. So, yeah, like I said, just keep your head up, okay? There's no reason to lose all hope yet, because there still can be faith found in humanity. We've managed to pull through other hard, depressing times that, honestly, could have crippled us completely and totally, like the Depression and all that other stuff. And honestly, like, nobody ever said that, okay, if I actually have to show what kind of side, where I am on the spectrum, the end of capitalism does not mark the end of the world. a lot of people are usually trained to think that the end of capitalism is usually the end of the world, and the end of the world will happen first before the end of capitalism. I hate to break it to you, but no. It's part of the reason why it's so hard to think of a life beyond capitalism or something better than capitalism, because, that's all we're trained to think about. And it's unfortunate that we're trained to think about that because, we could be finding better solutions for ourselves. I mean, yes, I get it. Not everything should be handed out on a silver platter. And yes, sometimes there are going to be some people out there that are going to be lazy and take advantage of it. Of course. But then, of course, you know what? When you take a look at it, we already have people taking advantage of some of the systems that we have inside our government anyway. So what does it matter? I mean, why does it matter if we want to disable SNAP completely and totally for people who can't get food? Because, that's stupid. It's just completely and totally stupid. Or, get rid of military pay, despite the fact that these guys are supposed to be trained professionals who should be ready to protect this country at the drop of a hat. I'm sorry. Where is the fairness in this? Where is the equality in this? Where is the benefits for this? I mean, this isn't really necessarily making anything better. This is making things worse. And again, something that I think a lot of people really did not take into consideration with this and some of the recent government shutdown. Sorry to get a little political there, but, in an unscripted rant like this, I'm pretty sure it's bound to happen. But, again, like I said, when it comes down to it, we could try focusing on something better. We could try doing something a little bit different. And yes, things are going to get rough. And yes, we may end up having to get a bit tough to ourselves. But, one thing I really should say is that we should try to avoid violence as much as we possibly can, even if it's what the rich people would listen to. Because, well, okay, they'll probably listen to money. If money stops flowing, they're probably going to end up missing it big time. Because, here's the thing, I don't get how on earth firing thousands and thousands of people, almost every week, seems to be beneficial to rich people. Because don't forget, their money comes from our money. And the reason why their money comes from our money is because we have to pay for stuff. We have to pay for our food, our utilities, some of the commodities that we have in our lives, and they get to rake in the money. So the least they can do is put it back out into the world, And again, this is part of the reason why they need to have taxes. And again, why there are so many loopholes in our frickin' tax system, and it's only being made worse. Because, when it comes down to it, one of my favorite childhood figureheads growing up was Robin Hood, Because, he was a guy who was a gentleman. And granted, even if he was a thief, he stole from the rich to feed the poor. He wasn't doing it for ill causes. He was doing it for good reasons. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I do feel like God would be on the side of a man like Robin Hood than they would be on the side of Prince John, Because Prince John would just suck his thumb whenever something went wrong and didn't go his way. Or either that, he would complain and try to raise taxes on people and try to make the innocent suffer, despite the fact that, they're already suffering underneath his hand. Which, again, kind of goes back to the idea of, why we need somebody like Robin Hood right now. Because, again, I'm getting a little political here. Maybe I should stop right now before I wear off people and wait them off and whatever. But, there's more and more people who are starting to fall into the mindset of, hey, something is actually wrong with our country. And I'm glad for that. I wish it didn't take this, all of everything that happened this year, to make them realize that, but it did, unfortunately. So now we gotta suffer the consequences while trying to fight for a better future now. Thanks. You could have made it easier on yourselves, but instead, no, you decided to fight and make it harder and kept fighting and making it harder. So, thank you. Thank you for that unnecessary challenge. Look, I'm not one to back down from a challenge, but at the same time, if it's completely and totally unnecessary, something that you completely and totally invoke upon yourself because you keep doing it the wrong way, then more than likely, you're going to end up causing a whole lot of problems. And you know what? I know this from firsthand experience. I've had code that's screwed me over before. I've had instances in my life where I've been screwed over before by myself. In fact, when it comes down to it, actually, there was a time when I actually believed a bot, okay? Like, seriously, I thought there was a bot that was a real person that lived in California, and she was a investor. And then she started teaching me how to invest, okay, through another website. Turns out, oh yeah, it was a scam. But there was a reason why I ended up falling for that. Part of it was because I was in a very dark place at the time. I wanted to get out of Taco John's, and I wanted to start doing some of the things that I wanted to do, like recording more videos for you guys, and like making games, and trying to straighten out myself, and trying to do more chores around the house, and, you know, do better for my family and the people around me. When I started doing that, I felt more free, more available for myself and the people around me, and able to do some of the things that I was hoping to do for the future, for this foreseeable future. But unfortunately, it never happened that way. Or it didn't last very long anyway, because, you know, then there was that one fateful night, which I think most of you guys already know what's coming. But, you know, it's kind of sad that the only thing that really sticks out to me that night was my dad kicking me in the balls. Part of me goes like I deserved it. Part of me goes like, no, I did not. I was trying to defend my position too. And, yeah, it pains me to say that, but I do love my dad, but sometimes he is just a bit too bullheaded for his own good. But that's neither here nor there. That's in the past. I'm just trying to focus on now. I'm trying to focus on surviving, trying to get some of the bills that I have paid off. I am focusing on trying to get Christmas gifts for most of my family right now. I'm probably just focusing on stocking stuffers because I've already went into gifts for Krista and, well, yeah, for both Krista and Sarah. Mom and Dad are a little bit harder to shop for. Well, Mom dropped a hint that actually probably would work for me, but, well, granted, not entirely. I do have something against Amazon, and honestly would prefer to get her a different tablet altogether, because she wants a new Kindle. For me, it's like, no, I don't want to deal with Amazon again, because I've had one too many bad problems with Amazon. The most recent instance was I ended up pre-ordering. I pre-ordered a game thinking that I was going to have money when it came around time to ordering it or getting it shipped, you know? Then when it turned out when it got closer to that time, I realized I wasn't going to have that kind of money. So I tried canceling it. I tried canceling it 3 freaking times, and it still shipped. It still pulled money out of my account, and I'm still mad at Amazon for doing that. Like, why the heck was it so frickin' hard to cancel a frickin' pre-order? I mean, also, not to mention, I've also had heck trying to unsubscribe from their unlimited music service so that I can listen to some of the sample songs. Or at least some sample of some of the music that they have for certain albums. Or, you know, like the... I don't even know why they decided to do this, but they completely and totally bastardized their music site. Like, completely and totally. It's just not the same anymore. It's just awful to use. It's clunky. It's unintuitive. And not to mention, also, I do have a bit of a problem with how much heck it took to unsubscribe from Amazon Prime. More than once. In fact, when it comes down to it, it's kind of upsetting to see that Markiplier's series that he did some acting for, which, by the way, I do recommend. It is actually pretty good. The Edge of Sleep was an Amazon Prime exclusive. And honestly, it was just upsetting with the fact that I had to pay $7 to watch it. Sure, fine, I guess I'll give them the $7 for that, but nothing else, nothing more, because Prime is now practically useless now because they don't offer 2-day shipping. Most of their videos and movies and TV shows I don't even watch. Like, honestly, why should I even invest in this? Why should I even bother with this? I should just cancel it, because I'm just wasting money. So, that's what I did. I don't regret it in any way, shape, or form. At all. Honestly, I kind of feel like I should just cancel my Nintendo Switch Online application too, because, you know what, I decided to resubscribe to that, and, well, yeah, let's just say I haven't used it very much, because, well, not only am I not on my Switch all that often, but also I don't really necessarily play online games all that often either. So I guess that's something to say about me and myself. I mean, I still own a Switch 2, and I don't regret it at all. And I know some people are gonna think I'm crazy for saying that, but no, I don't. First of all, I viewed the Switch 2 as probably the last console that I may ever buy. Because, well, yeah, it doesn't take much to realize how much is going wrong right now in this world. But number two, like, I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 is not a bad idea overall, but honestly could use a few more games to, like, polish it out, round it out, make it a little more viable, you know? I mean, right now, all they really got going for it right now is Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World. One of them is a good game. The other one is okay. I mean, honestly, I do think it's the most fun I've ever had with a Mario Kart game in a long time, but still, like, Mario Kart World is just okay. Like, I don't think it's necessarily topping Wii in my eyes in any way, shape, or form. And I know some people are going to be thinking I'm crazy for liking Wii, but first of all, I haven't played Double Dash, I haven't played 64, okay? And I know some of you guys are probably going to go like, oh, it would behoove me to do that, but honestly, I am not paying $50 for Nintendo's extended service, because, again, it's just not worth it. There is nothing there that really entices me to stay on their service, number one. Number two, a copy of Double Dash online is just insane. Like, I think I probably get better prices shopping locally, and even then, it's not cheap either. Like, I think the cheapest first-party Nintendo game that I've seen, well, okay, fine, it's $20, but, you know, still, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be $20. For Double Dash, I think it was like 80, 70 the last time I checked, and that was, like, from a game store up in Casper, which, by the way, it's actually kind of fun to walk around in. Yeah, like I said, when it comes down to it, but again, like I said, I bought the Nintendo Switch 2 because I viewed it as a console that honestly should be just kind of worth buying, and honestly would be the last console that I probably could ever buy. So I just went in with it. Probably part of the reason why I don't have too much money right now, but oh well, neither here nor there. I don't want to talk too much about financials on this channel. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled on long enough, so anyway, if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I hope to continue more on with this, so we'll see how far this video gets. So, yeah. This is Superchocolatemilkshake. Oh yeah, maybe I should talk about the nah, I shouldn't be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. I might end up indulging in a bit of spoilers because I might talk a little too much, but anyway. This is Superchocolatemilkshake, signing off.